Welcome back to Agri Extra here on NAMPO Virtual. With me in the studio is a company that I can tell you has been around in South Africa for longer than my father has. And in the studio with me is Donovan van der Walt and Luthando Oliphant, Bohdan de Wet and John Hopkins. And they're all from Volkswagen commercial vehicles. But firstly, we're going to talk about a fantastic competition that Volkswagen is launching. And I'm very, very certain that our farmers will be extremely excited to learn about that. Telling us more about this is Donovan. He's the operations manager for Volkswagen Advanced Driving.
Yeah.
Donovan, you must have probably the most fun job in the world.
Yeah, I reckon I do. I really do enjoy that.
Okay, so tell us about the competition.
All right, so pretty much what's going to happen is all that people need to do to enter this competition is just engage with our chat online. So just engage with our team, get some questions across, and then you go into the draw. And then, yeah, I think Friday comes along, and then we see who's the lucky person that gets to join us on our Amarok 4x4 experience.
Oh, fantastic. Now, what can our winner expect? What's the prize?
Okay, so firstly, it's an awesome full-day experience. We get them into the latest Volkswagen Amarok, and then we take them through everything that they need to know in terms of the functions, you know, what to press in which type of terrain, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, so firstly, get them started inside the car. Explaining all the functions, we then take them onto the 4x4 training track. So they get to experience, you know, for example, functions like hill descent control, the off-road mode, you know, when to activate the diff lock, turn off traction control. So we really get them to become sort of a master in terms of 4x4. Once they've got the go-ahead there, we then make our way onto the sort of a nature trail. It's about 14 kilometers in length. It's got a couple of obstacles, but it's enough to sort of, you know, challenge the driver, and even from like a novice right through to an expert level. But yeah, no, it's an awesome experience.
Yeah, I think if you go and talk to South African farmers, they'll tell you, man, I am already an advanced driver. But we're going to turn them into even more advanced drivers.
Yeah, no, I reckon definitely, especially with that Amarok.
Yeah, I think they are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right, now I want to move along, and we're going to talk about conversions of products. Now, Luthando Oliphant is the special markets consultant for Volkswagen commercial vehicles. Luthando, I would like to ask you, when we talk about conversions, why? Why would a customer decide, I need to convert my vehicle?
Yeah, well, Gerrit, thank you for that question. Quite simply put, we've got a wide range of customers that are looking for an even wider range of applications when it comes to their vehicles. The Volkswagen commercial vehicles product lineup, you know, gives us the perfect platform on which we can convert our vehicles, and therefore our customers, you know, being familiar with the caddy all the way up to the crafter, would come to us and they would request a certain application, be it a bus or an ambulance, so on and so forth. And the reason why they would want to convert that is obviously to fit their vehicle to the purpose that they are looking to provide a solution for. So in actual fact, we always say at Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles that we don't sell vehicles, we sell solutions. So our customers come to us to customize their vehicles and fit them to a particular purpose, and that is why they would come and request a conversion.
So how do you support them? How does Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles help them? How do you help them to come to a decision on this conversion?
Yes. So for us, it's really about supporting the customer from end to end. And what we mean by that is we first sit with the customer and we understand what their requirement is and what their need is. We then move on to fit the correct vehicle to that particular purpose. It makes no sense to propose a transporter panel van to a customer that's looking for an application that fits in a crafter or even in a caddy for that matter. So we go through that process with the customer, understand their requirements, fit the correct product to that requirement. Then we go together with the customer and select the correct conversion partner for that build. And what I mean by correct conversion partner is that not all of our conversion partners do all the conversions. So you've got converters that specialize in bus builds, you've got converters that specialize in ambulances and mobile clinics and other mobile facilities and so on. So we then select and we then go through the process of conversion, and John is going to take us a little bit more in detail in terms of what that process entails with all the elements that get built into the vehicle. And from that point on, We do inspections with the customer, we do sign-offs with the customer, and we take it all the way through delivering the vehicle to the dealer where the pre-delivery inspection is going to be done. And we take it even further than that to the point where the vehicle is handed over to the customer. But for us, the process doesn't stop there. And Bohdan is going to touch on how we support our customers from an after-sales point of view. And we basically support the customer from the inception of the build all the way through to them decommissioning that vehicle.
John, excuse me, John. Luthando touched on the process. So briefly explain to us, how does this conversion process work?
So basically what we've got these conversion partners, which are independent guys and that we support from a technical point of view with regards to specifications on the vehicle and that. So basically once the vehicle is received from, the order is placed, then obviously, like Luthando mentioned, we will discuss the conversion with the converter. We have certain guidelines that they need to follow. Any area where they're cutting on the vehicle, they need to obviously ensure that they protect that area from future corrosion, because our vehicles, those, especially on Crafter and some of the other vehicles, they come with 12-year corrosion warranty, which we've got to honor, and we've got to make sure that whatever conversion is made to that, withstands the elements as such, because we're supplying around the country and that too. They've got certain guidelines that they need to follow as far as what they need to do. We sit with them as far as electrical interfaces, especially on the new Crafter that has been designed. It's designed to be very user-friendly when it comes to a conversion process. We have certain applications that are supplied from the factory, like a secondary battery with battery management system. There's reverse cameras and all that type of stuff. Because obviously the best scenario for the customer is to have factory fitted stuff. We try and stay away from as much of the aftermarket stuff as possible, so we don't have things like that. I'm not sure if that's answered exactly what you're looking for, but we try and going forward in that too, we really want to focus on process and quality. Yeah. Those are the two big aspects for us, and that customers are very critical about. And we pride ourselves in our after-sales strategy, to actually address the customer's issues, and we just really want to be more professional than the rest of the guys in it.
Yeah, I can imagine with your selection process for your converters, that must be extremely rigorous. Are these converters also dealers who belong to VWSA?
Yeah, no, those guys, the conversion partners, just like our dealers, are independent. We have a contract which binds them to certain rules and regulations that they need to follow as far as what they need to do and what they not need to do, but they are independent in that. But a lot of our partners have been with us for many a year, and they also partner with some of the other major OEMs because they are subject matter experts in what they do. And like Luthando mentioned, they can do anything, And we've obviously just got to make sure that also complies with our vehicle as well as what the customer's requirement is.
All right, let's talk about the warranty and the maintenance service plans of these vehicles. Bohdan, how does the conversion affect those factors?
Well, firstly, like John has said, is we keep a close eye on how they integrate with the vehicle and so forth. And after all, we sign off on these builds. So the warranty and so forth, and the service plan, maintenance plans, which is called, by the way, now Easy Drive plans, is not affected at all if it comes through one of our approved converters. So we are currently stepping up the converter realm to the premium partner status, which will allow these guys to actually export. So that is how we actually invest in the community, in the public space, and so forth.
Yeah, so it's a company with a heart
Correct.
for its community.
Correct.
Now, can a customer take a converted vehicle to any Volkswagen commercial vehicle dealer for a service, or is there a special process?
By all means. What we are actually looking at now is to train our technicians in the dealer network to be able to look after, for example, let's call it an ambulance. Your stretcher conks out and you need a new stretcher. Then there's a whole process where they actually phone the converter, the original converter, get the stretcher ordered and so forth, and then supplied. So it's a one-stop shop. Yeah.
Now, I've heard that conversions tend to be expensive in history. Now, in relation to the price of a vehicle, what's the average price?
Well, look, it all depends on what you build. If it is a passenger carrying vehicle, you can look in around, say, call it 70,000 Rand. But that's not even a quarter of the vehicle's price. So it's not that expensive. We work closely with our converters to keep all components manufactured and so forth local. That means cheaper and of good quality. I mean, a lot of our components, even used on the line, on Polo and so forth, is from South Africa. And our component suppliers are excellent when it comes to world standards. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, when we talk about people with disabilities, and they will obviously need a converted vehicle, there will be legal compliance aspects. What are the important factors to keep in mind there?
Look, disabilities is a hard one, and we are one of the few manufacturers that actually caters for disabilities. You will notice that on NAMPO every year we have got a disability vehicle there, or a converted vehicle, and it is close to our heart. The major thing is to make sure the vehicle is still legally roadworthy. That's the first step. And then obviously there's so many disabilities out there. So we've partnered with a specific disability company in South Africa, which by the way is affiliated with a German mother company, to convert these vehicles. Yeah, so like I said, legally traffic, and then obviously the different disabilities that there is on the market, and make sure that the vehicle is drivable and fit to purpose. I mean, if Luthando has touched on it, they always go to the customer and make sure that the vehicle actually fits the application. Yeah, even more so, because that vehicle is tailored specifically to that person's needs. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tailor-made solution.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, you and I, if we have to get into that vehicle, you'll battle to drive the vehicle because it's really tailored to that specific person and the size and the needs and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a vast consultation process.
It is. No, absolutely. It is. And you can get it wrong. But luckily, being us, we go back and back until it's solved. Yeah.
It all comes back to that involvement, that heart for the community. Now, until today, I must admit, I have never thought of a conversion as an ambulance and as even a security vehicle, police, a fire truck. What other types of vehicles are we talking about here?
There's lots. The most popular ones is obviously the long-distance taxis on Crafter and so forth, ambulances and so on. But with Amarok, we've had dark units on the single cabs, double cabs and transporters. We've got patient transporters. We've got game viewing vehicles, we've got funeral vehicles, hearses, you know, that is actually a big part of our fleets right now. And then in the mining, we use Amaroks and Ts, because most of our vehicles comes in full motion, four-wheel drive. So we can put a combi in a mining pit, for example. Yeah, so there's quite a bit.
So the applications are incredibly wide.
It's vast. Vast.
How big is this market?
Fleets for commercial vehicles is the most important market. So we tend to focus on it. Therefore, we've got Luthando, for example, and John that focuses only on conversions and fleets. And none of the other brands, the passenger brands and so forth, has got this dedication to fleets. So fleets is extremely important to commercial vehicles. And yeah, if you then go into double cabs and single cabs and so forth, yes, you get your normal vehicles, but you know you can convert a single cab to become a courier vehicle with a canopy on and so forth. But if it doesn't fit the purpose and it's too heavy on fuel and the running cost is too high, it's also not going to work. So you really need to know exactly what to ask and look into the business in order to supply a proper vehicle for that application.
Now, looking at the agricultural sphere, what kind of conversions would farmers typically ask for? Actually,
quite a bit. The first thing that they would like to do is obviously all-terrain tires and lift the vehicle and so forth, because from farm to farm it obviously differs. the roads is different to his next door neighbors, and he's got a unique situation. The other day we had a guy that bought a combi, for example, and we fitted a proved cycle suspension to this combi in order to lift it a little bit so that he can go to church, for example, on Sundays and so forth, and not hit his middleman going out to the tar road, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just imagine seeing the vast differences in agricultural landscapes. You know, there must be a conversion for every type out there.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. I mean, on the pickups as well. I mean, sheep rails, for example, cattle rails and so on, bull bars, game viewing rails and seats and so forth. I mean, it's vast what the farming community needs.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Endless.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I'm sure that farmers are looking forward to that advanced driving competition. And it was lovely having you in the studio. Look forward to our next conversation again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back again soon, and we will be discussing some more very interesting agricultural industry factors and implements. We're back just after this.